We're here in a small forest in the east of the Netherlands, close to this river. A really beautiful, nice river with clean rainwater that flows from Germany. This forest is mainly oak and has been here for 600 years, as far as we can look back. Being here and waking up, especially in the summer, the sun shining through the leaves into my bed place with all the beautiful sounds and songs of the birds. Greeting the sun, doing a little bit of stretching is connecting me definitely to the place where I am. Usually around Easter I take my first dip in the river. When it's summer and it's a bit warmer, it's really nice to start your day by taking a swim just around the corner. And if there's a hot afternoon and we've done some dusty jobs, it's always nice to wash your day off with a nice dip in the river. There's about 30 houses in this forest. And everyone has his own little house and his own little garden. The house that I'm living in now was already here. It's a small place that was nice and dry, so I bought that place and I'm building around it. I'm really happy that I found this place. It's in the middle of nature and you have quite a bit of freedom. And having my little house, which to a lot of people look like it's like comes from a fairy tale, with a small kitchen, with a guest bedroom for the woofers, with a cozy living room where I can sleep in, work in, you can have dinner there, my little fireplace, you can snuggle up, especially when it's cold. Hey, Valerie.
Hello, Bouwie.
Hello.
We're so happy to be here.
Yeah, oh, me too.
How do you feel about the interview today?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
You ready?
Looking forward to all these questions. Nice to give you this interview. What was the first thing? I call myself Bouwie Greenman. I'm almost 50 years old. I'm lucky to be in this forest a lot of my time. I feel connected and I value nature a lot. I'm trying to be as environmentally friendly as possible. Whatever I do with the soil, with the earth, also with the building project, I'm trying to choose the materials that are at least harmful as possible. For my daily job, I try to help people plant as much edible plants, trees, and sharing a lot of knowledge about food forests, basically. A food forest is a designed system by humans that mimics the structures and the ways a forest works. Because we, as humans, we also like to eat. So if we design a forest system with edible species that we can also harvest from, and also with species that help to maintain the community of plants, like the forest itself, we have a self-maintaining system where the bees, the wasps, whatever insects can also benefit from. I see nature like Mother Earth, and everything you do is like us feeling like a part of the cycle. There was a previous life that I used to live with a big house, a mortgage, a car, a lot of expenses. And it was everything I could dream of back then. And I wanted to have a bigger house on the water with a boat, and I gathered and made everything possible. And then I was sitting there and I was like, no, this is not working. This is not what I thought it would. This is not making me happy. Instead, it was more restraining me than setting myself free. And the moment that took me to the place where I left my previous life was a long process. I was trying to develop as much consciousness as I could, but actually I didn't really feel the way that I was developing myself in my surroundings back then. So I chose to search for surroundings that could help me develop, although that also took a few years to realize and to actually make the step. So I chose to leave that life, leave my wife, leave the house, sell everything, and go on my quest. When I took the decision to try something else, it took me a while to search for what makes me happy. Gardening was definitely something that was already introduced to me by my parents. When I was 25, I already was moving in Australia for half a year, traveling around, sleeping in tents and meeting a lot of people that were into permaculture, off-the-grid living. And that's where the spark began. Before I bought this house, I was coming here for 2 years to have a little taste of what it's like to be here. And and I really liked it. I met some people that were planting a lot of trees and that were living here off the grid. There were already some houses for sale back then, but it was this moment that triggered me of taking the step to actually get settled here. We organized a sort of like week workshop at the neighbor, Janke's place, with a lot of volunteers coming over, working on our house and on our wagon. And it got me so excited. I thought like, well, if we can do this in a week, so much inspiration and so much work, then I can take up this project that I'm dreaming of, like growing a living house. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy this house. So I did. When I was young, I would be in the forest or climb into a tree. I was always pulled to play in the bushes, and as I would go with my father, I was searching for places to be in nature, and I didn't think about it back then. I would just enjoy myself, making my pants dirty. My mother was always complaining, of course. And also when I was a bit older, I was walking with some friends through the forest, and we would imagine how life would be like if we are grown up. We were always like, where do you want to live in the future? That was already our dream then. I made my dream come true by being here as much as I can. Feeling different than the regular society is something I recognize from early years. It's also a feeling that this is not so nice, because you want to belong to the bigger group, but I don't mind that much anymore. I'm just that I am what I am, and if people have certain thoughts of me, then it's just their story that they're trying to project on me. Being here in this forest gave me the freedom and also time and less stress to choose whatever I want to do today or tomorrow. Of course, I still need to work for a bit of money, but it's way less. So that really gives me the opportunity to choose better what I spend my time on. Autonomy to me is a big word. It's a lot of techniques that I'm trying to incorporate to live off the grid and to don't use the commercial suppliers, or to use them as less as possible. Because I installed like all the systems in this house, if I do it myself, I can also fix it myself, and I know where the problems are, and I can take responsibility of whatever I create with my system and whatever I use from that system. living off grid, this definitely helps you to be conscious about all your choices. When I first came here, the first priority was being self-sufficient in keeping myself warm, especially in the winters, to make a fire. I try to have as much waste wood as possible to gather that all year round. So I installed a stove that was that could burn like a lot of different woods, and I would have an oven in there. Cooking is done on the firewood, I gather, and also on a bit of gas. The second thing I was focusing on was getting the electricity up and running. So I installed solar panels that are on the roof, having my energy, storing it into a battery, using it for all the electric appliances I have, so it could just charge my phone, charge my laptop, and having a light here and there. Well, and here you can see how the solar system works of this house. The sun comes on the solar panels that are on the roof. It goes to the solar chargers, and the solar chargers take care that the right amount of power goes into the battery. The battery is just like a car battery or like your camper. It's 12 volts and it runs like a lot of things in this house, like the lights, the USB holes, the pump. So that's how the house works. But if you need the regular wall sockets that you have in your on-the-grid house, then we need to turn on the inverter, and the inverter converts the battery power to the wall socket power. Behind the door is how it looks like for real. Maybe it's a bit complicated, but it's actually the same system, although there are a lot of solar charges and a lot of cables to get the best harvest of the sun. But you could make a smaller system and a more simple system, that's for sure. And as soon as you have electricity, then you can think of like having ways of pumping up water from the ground, filtering and drinking it. Here's the water that comes out of my house, and it goes to the shower if I turn it on, like this. It's being I pump up the water here from the well, then it goes into the house. There's a set of filters, and then it comes out of the house again to feed the wall, feed the shower, feed the toilet, and it works. Here we are at the walnut wall. I've planted about 110 walnut trees on top of this mountain for Dutch standards. There was already a big walnut tree growing in this, so we made the mountain around it. And inside the mountain there's a rainwater catchment. So it comes from the roof at the back of the house, it's being filtered, and there's containers in this mountain to hold the water and keep it fresh. Those are the three main things I did first, like heat, electricity, and water. And whatever happens in this world, I can still live here in a comfortable way. I was searching for ways to keep my vegetables cool. And since I was already vegetarian back then, later I became vegan here in this place. You learn how to keep things cool and how to keep things fresh, not rotten anyhow. Well, now we are in the kitchen. I have no fridge in this kitchen, but I do keep my vegetables here on the cold floor. So I have 2 crates here with the vegetables and the fruit in there to keep them cool. I don't have a fridge. It's really unusual for people that have it, because I don't have a microwave oven, but actually I don't want to have a microwave oven. And no, I don't have a fridge, but I don't see the purpose of having one, because I can perfectly survive without. Well, and the stuff I buy, I try to buy it in large quantities. So I store it in the glass jars here. Also because to keep the mice off. With the rest of the waste, I try to make compost as much as I can. Everything that's organic, I put in here, and I have a big compost bin there underneath. I was always conscious of what I would put in my mouth, what I would eat, what I would drink, and living this off-the-grid or autonomous life really made me conscious about all the things I'm consuming, basically, because I'm trying to produce it myself. I try to have as smallest role in this ecosystem. I designed the place and I'm planting plants to use the system as efficiently as possible. Yeah, and then I can point out here, like, oh, here's the wild garlic. And they're a bit like making seeds already. These are the flowers. And we can eat the leaves. And there's still some leaves that are nice. Actually, we should eat it straight away. If you make the pesto, then the best moment is to eat the pesto when it's fresh. And then you can do a bit of appetizer, and then we can have the something else from another continent later. We know a lot about the kitchen herbs, and it's really nice to have like a rosemary twig in your in the dinner you're preparing. In spring, there's a lot of herbs that some people consider as weed and want to get rid of it. And those weeds, some of them are really nice to make a pesto out of. There's also some herbs that I'm growing myself that are making a good combination, like wild garlic and ground elder. I'm baking my bread in the winters, I'm doing it in the stove. But now there's so much sun and so much electricity from the sun, so I can also bake my bread in the bread baking machine. That's one of the things I do, trying to prepare the food for dinner as natural as I can, with a lot of organic ingredients. And here's some pesto.
Yay, I was actually waiting for this moment.
Well, enjoy.
So good.
From my own food forest. Yeah, and then you come on this deep question, like, what do we need in life? That's an interesting question, and something that is probably different for everyone. Yeah, I don't think we need a lot. I don't think we need as much as we want to have now. Most of us, I would say, would need food, water, air, warmth. Would already get into the more comfortable area. It's like, what do we need? Comfort? Yeah, I would like to. I would like to have a bit of comfort. That's definitely the case. I like to weave trees and weave trees into certain sculptures. I got inspired by a lot of off-the-grid systems, what I saw on videos or in books. When I first came here 13 years ago, one of my neighbors, Bob, inspired me for the living village and to grow living houses and other structures. And I was like, yeah, let's do this, let's try this, and let's just experiment. And we did a lot of other things as well, like a festival and a workshop that we run. But I was always like, no, a living house, that's the best thing to show the people. So what I did, I created the sweet chestnut wall, and that was made with pallets. And this one is still growing and still standing, so I like it's working. It needs more light, but it's always a challenge in the forest. Yeah, and here you see an example of two branches that grew together. I connected them with a screw this time, and they're welded together. They grew together. It's a really strong connection here. The warm water in my shower works with a fire stove. There's a special thing that I bought for it. Below there's a little door. You can make your fire there, and above that is a container which holds water, and which also has a tap to mix the warm water with the cold water, so you can adjust it accordingly. And if you make like half an hour of fire in it, there you can have 2 comfortable showers. When I saw the dome shape first, I was like, oh yeah, cool, I want to make a dome. And then I found the materials and I made this dome. I was weaving these trees, and the trees would always go up. So I make the combinations of weaving the trees on the dome shape. So the dome is actually just a temporary construct to shape the trees as a dome. And it's really nice to be inside the dome, also like energetically. And really like thinking like a permaculture designer to make all these functions and to design the elements in your design to have like multiple functions is also one of the principles. So I was making like, yeah, I have a dome, I have a place where I grow my trees around. The dome is also cleaning the water because the trees are doing that, and I can have my shower in there as well. So this dome also has like a lot of functions. Also in the future, my water from the sewage system from my extension will also be filtered inside the dome. So it's like adding of functions and just having a cool place to take a shower. As I started here as a volunteer myself, I was already like finding a nice balance between learning and sharing my effort in helping other people. And I'm doing that with hosting a lot of volunteers through Move, World Packers, or some other ESC project that I'm involved now, or even like for people that are not linked to any organization, just that want to help me. Now I meet people from all over the world who come here. So there's a lot of volunteers over all the time basically. I really enjoyed the sharing of knowledge and the working together on this project. And yeah, people are welcome to come and help me and learn. Lately I've been focused again on like building my house, because that also needs a lot of work and it needs a lot of time and effort. But it's also nice that my house is sort of like growing bit by bit and people are seeing the progression in it. And I also like that a lot, to see like, oh yeah, now I'm getting a floor and I'm getting a boss and I'm getting like, it's getting there, it's happening. I like that. I like the progress that I'm making with a lot of volunteers in this place. And then of course, like having all the meals, sharing the meals like breakfast, lunch and dinner with the volunteers that are usually here. And having a lot of social time also with people that are around me. Some volunteers that are here, I keep in touch with. Some people there even share nice stories, like this Italian guy who found some land in his family's property that he's now growing a food forest there. There is this guy who's traveling the world now and finding ways to change consciousness in other people that is coming often here as well to give me updates. And there's all kinds of examples like that volunteers share back with me. So yes, I do know, at least from some of them, I really help them to inspire this different view of life. The volunteers I work with, they're also mirrors for me, because some of them, they trigger things in me, but it tells me something about myself that I should work on. It's not that I should change the other. That's a really big self-development practice to learn from different cultures, different aspects of all these people around me. We are here in this forest with some nice neighbors that know each other very well and that also can help each other.
Yes, are we younger? Just like a portable. Yeah. Well, close. I can help you with that. He's in the car, sir. Yeah.
For instance, my neighbor would just build like a place to store her firewood and to keep it dry. So somebody was helping her building the wood shed, and somebody else was stacking the wood in there in the moment that she had like there. And I will help her to find the roof and transport it over. The community gives a feeling of belonging to some tribe, basically, some togetherness. It can also feel like a bit security, but security is also something like counting. You cannot count on the help of your neighbors. I would say you cannot depend on it. You can ask for it, and it's nice if you can receive it. So it's not like a social security, although the name could be soothing. But it will definitely help with times of need. Yeah. When I was young, I was always going with my father to his vegetable garden, and it was always about growing food. Now with our community garden, we can grow a lot of vegetables that we otherwise would have buy in a shop. And it's too dark to grow here. Well, there's some things, but there's only a few open sunny spots here in the forest that we can grow vegetables. So that's why we search for a place to do that. It's somewhere else where it's more light, more sun, more open space. That is really looking good. I think the way that we handle nature or growing food on a bigger scale now, with all the machines and the tractors depleting the soil from all the nutrition, and then having all these chemicals on it, it didn't really make me feel, like that was the way to work with nature. And it's not a sustainable way of farming. And then I learned about permaculture. There's no waste. So everything that falls down can be compost again. And as long as we don't add any chemicals to it, it's a nice cycle that nature will benefit from. So you have to go with the seasons, with the flow of nature. Harvesting is one of the things that you just observe and choose the moment to do that. And it's all depending on how the sun warms up everything. The diversity is really an important one. If you have a lot of different species around you to grow your food, you have a lot of food autonomy, basically. Last year, I think we ate whole summer through salads from the garden. There's already a lot of food that we can harvest, like for instance the courgette and the carrots and whatever we were growing. It's looking more promising. It really helped to save a lot of money to go to the shop, and it's also way more nice to eat your own grown vegetables. Being in contact with nature, with people, sharing. Of course you can survive without, but it's really nice to have that as well. Having a regular way of growing food combined with food forest principles can be like a middle way between how we grow food now and how we could grow food in the future. Well, we share a lot of things here in the forest. For instance, we have a shared laundry with a washing machine and a dryer. Sometimes we also share electricity, by the way. So if somebody runs out of electricity, we can help to charge up some batteries. We have a food co-op, so we buy the organic food in bulk, and it gives really nice advantage on the prices we can do. We have a shared trailer. We are borrowing tools. Of course, we can help each other with all kinds of things that needs to be done. I would say it's really satisfying to help each other and to help your neighbors. And it's also nice to receive help if you need it. For instance, if you got sick or something, it's always nice to that somebody's just bringing over a bit of food, so if you cannot cook it yourself, or you help each other, and it really gives a certain sense of community without being forced certain tasks that some communities also do. We're trying to keep it as free as possible. If you're thinking about living in a community yourself, I would definitely get in touch with as many communities as you can. You can find them on all kinds of websites or even the Global Eco Village network. So just help out. There's always places that are around that you can find. Ask if you can help. Usually they're always open for volunteers, and live with them for a while and see if you like their kind of lifestyle, because there are so many communities and there's so many lifestyles. I think it's important that you feel at home, especially if you want to choose to live there till the end of your life. One thing we know for sure, the extremes are going to be more extreme. The drought, the rain, the wind. If you look at the amount of people that are living on the earth and the amount of land that is available, it's completely off. In the cities, there's a lot of people living really close on top of each other, and there's a lot of fields that only is growing grass. I would say as closer you grow your food to your house, the better it is. Your housing incorporated in a food system. You harvest the food from your house, from your wall, or just around it. That's how I see a future. Also, if you have the perspective of a food forest specialist, if you're planting a tree, you're thinking about a future past yourself. You won't be able to see the tree growing up at its full potential, and so you need to do something with the ownership of the land to secure the future of the tree and the harvest. That's why we started the Earth Collective. It's a movement to help people into a new economy. finding ways to make the land available for future generations in a way that they don't have to pay money over and over again. So if you have nature and people merged, then suddenly there is a lot of space for everyone. And if we make local communities possible on the land that is now only grass, and have trees and nature there, we have like we solve a lot of problems, overpopulating, food transport, and also the climate problems that we can definitely solve with planting more trees in this earth. Otherwise, living definitely brought me something. What I'm doing today is aligned with what I like to do, and it's definitely making sense and giving inspiration to future generations. I'm certain that it does in some way or another. The biggest thing that this forest taught me, and probably also living in symbiosis with like your own living off-the-grid cocoon, is that you cannot force things. It's also whatever pops up that needs more priority. It's more like a holistic way of looking not only at my life and what I want to do, but also like what the forest wants in this place and what my house is telling me. I definitely see that the house and my garden and maybe sometimes also aspects of this world around me is like a reflection of what is inside me. Yes. If I could travel back and advise my 15-year younger version of myself, my advice will be to do as many things as possible. Do the things that make you happy, that give you joy. Don't be scared that you make mistakes. Just do it and do more of it, and your path will be there somewhere.